His professional record, 16 victories, 13 of those 16 by knockout, against 2 defeats.
Look at the young man.
And he turned to us yesterday. He said, I am that man. That man.
Oh, hit left by Romero.
From the very opening bell, you can picture Rolly Romero charging forward with wild, unpredictable energy, desperately searching for that one sweeping hook that could shock the world and completely change the momentum of the fight. Romero is going to want to establish his physical presence immediately, forcing Teofimo Lopez to deal with his awkward movement, heavy
Very sharp tonight.
swings, and constant forward pressure. But Lopez, ever the dynamic and calculated counterpuncher, remains composed in the center of the ring, carefully studying Romero's erratic movements and waiting patiently for that split-second opening where he can punish the aggressive challenger. Lopez is keeping the pace high here in the early going, refusing to allow
and he's going to want to try to brawl.
Romero to dictate the rhythm completely. The opening rounds quickly develop into an explosive clash of contrasting styles, with Romero throwing heavy power shots and unpredictable hooks designed to keep Lopez on the defensive, while Lopez looks for precise counters and opportunities to exploit every mistake. Every exchange carries danger because Romero only needs one clean punch to change the entire fight, while Lopez possesses the timing and accuracy to make Romero pay whenever he overcommits.
And Lopez is keeping the pace up here in the early going.
Yet Teofimo Lopez's superior footwork and sharp upper body movement allow him to consistently slip away from a danger, making Romero's wild attacks increasingly difficult to land cleanly. Lopez stays light on his feet, constantly adjusting his position and refusing to remain directly in front of the hard-charging Romero for too long. Whenever Rolly rushes forward without a clear setup, Lopez responds with precise jabs and sharp, stinging right hands.
In the fight, I knew that I had him.
I mean, everybody knew.
No, but people didn't know, like, he actually can hit, like, when his punches was, like hard.
You felt it?
Yes.
Was he the strongest punch you think you ever felt?
Facts.
That interrupt his rhythm and force him to reconsider his approach. Those clean counters begin to punish Romero for overcommitting, while Lopez's movement allows him to control the distance and dictate when exchanges take place. The more Romero charges forward recklessly, the more opportunities Lopez creates to land accurate counters before quickly moving out of danger. This early tactical battle makes it clear that Romero's power and aggression could be dangerous, but Lopez's timing, footwork, and defensive awareness may make him extremely difficult to catch cleanly.
Teo deserves to be the favorite because of his accomplishments, his overall skill set, and all that. And, you know, save for the Ryan Garcia fight, that's the only time Rolly looked good in the last several fights. But I'm not picking somebody yet. You know, let us sink our teeth into it, get closer to the fight. But my first thought when this fight was presented and might get done was, I think Rolly is the more natural welterweight. I think he's the bigger guy.
By the middle rounds, Teofimo Lopez's ring IQ, athletic timing, and superior movement begin to take complete control of the fight, gradually turning what started as a wild brawl into something that looks more like his personal target practice. Rolly Romero continues trying to force ugly exchanges and rely on his natural strength and physical pressure, but Lopez's rapid combinations and devastating body shots begin taking their toll, slowing Romero down and draining the power behind those wide, lunging punches. Lopez is completely
Owning him here in round number 5.
Completely owning the action here in round number 5, finding openings almost whenever he wants and punishing Romero whenever he overcommits. The tension inside the arena reaches another level as the fight moves toward the championship rounds, with Romero's frustration growing after repeatedly missing his biggest power shots, while Lopez's confidence and showmanship begin taking center stage. Fatigue starts creeping into Romero's defense, leaving him increasingly exposed and vulnerable to Teofimo's lightning-fast counter hooks, which continue landing with damaging precision whenever Romero tries to attack. Again, Romero goes down, and this fight is over. In the end, this matchup delivers exactly what boxing fans want: pure entertainment and a high-stakes showdown between raw power and refined ring craft. Whether Teofimo seals the performance with a dramatic late-round stoppage or cruises toward a dominant decision victory, the night promises fireworks, high-intensity drama, explosive exchanges, and non-stop action from the opening bell all the way to the final moment.
I think that's going to be a good-ass fight. I think they're both entertaining as fuck inside and outside the ring. They they both entertaining inside and out the ring. I think it's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
I think that's a 50 fight, man. I don't know. May the best man win. And I like both of them, too.
Yeah. It's a good fight. I like it. Does the fight go the distance?
I don't know. Rolly got some thump. If Teofimo Lopez get reckless, I can see Rolly clipping his ass. I can see Rolly clipping his ass with something. Rolly got some thump.
Picking a winner for this fight is anything but easy because both fighters have significant questions to answer before they even step inside the ring. Rolly Romero has to overcome the uncertainty created by his inactivity, while Teofimo Lopez enters the matchup with his own concerns after several lackluster and inconsistent performances. Neither fighter has looked completely unbeatable, and both will need to prove that they can perform at their highest level when the pressure is at its greatest. That combination has left boxing experts scratching their heads and struggling to confidently choose a winner. On one side, Romero possesses the raw power, aggression, and unpredictable style capable of changing a fight with a single punch. On the other, Lopez has the speed, athleticism, footwork, and technical ability to frustrate Romero and punish his mistakes. With so many unanswered questions surrounding both men, predicting the outcome has become a genuine headache for boxing analysts, making this matchup even more intriguing for fans waiting to see which fighter can finally put everything together on fight night.
If I had to pick one, I'm going with Rolly right now, and that's very different for me because I usually go with technically sound, I usually go with skill. But I believe Rolly being composed and building off of the performance he had with Ryan Garcia and taking all the information in that Ishmael have to give him. And I can't reiterate this word composed enough because I think when he's not composed is where he gets knocked out. When he's not composed is where he gets clipped. And speaking of knockouts, I haven't seen Tio really clip nobody in a very long time. I've seen him outcraft, I've seen him outskill guys, but it's a great matchup. I'm happy the fight is happening, but the unorthodox style, the heavy-handed, the judo background, the physicalities, it has me leaning a bit to more.
Oddsmakers currently view Teofimo Lopez as a massive favorite, expecting the talented former champion to control the fight and potentially cruise toward a comfortable decision victory. On paper, Lopez appears to have the technical advantages, including superior footwork, speed, timing, and counterpunching ability, which could allow him to neutralize Romero's aggressive style. But if you talk to the people who actually understand what it takes to survive inside the gym, the world champions, experienced trainers, and well-connected boxing insiders, the confidence is not nearly as one-sided. Some of them are quietly backing Rolly Romero to produce a stunning and potentially brutal upset. They believe Romero's unpredictable attacks, natural power, physical strength, and willingness to take risks could create exactly the kind of chaos Lopez struggles to control. That makes this matchup far more dangerous than the betting odds might suggest, because one perfectly timed punch from Romero could completely erase Lopez's technical advantages and turn the fight upside down in an instant.
Tio, I don't think he has the physicality at 147 pounds. No, at 135, he was a monster. He loses, he goes to 140, and he put together a great performance against Josh Taylor, but, he hasn't really hurt anybody at 140. I think that Rolly found something in the Ryan Garcia fight. To fight a disciplined fight like that for 12 rounds against a talent like Ryan Garcia was impressive to me. I know Pitbull smoked him, and maybe that was a style thing, but I can remember during the Tank fight, I watched that fight, and for 5.5 rounds, he was getting the better of Tank. And it wasn't because Tank was allowing him to get the better of him, even though Tank kind of fights like that. It was a thing like, I got to be careful running up in here on this guy because this dude can hurt you. And last but not least, he used his jab that last fight. Although Teofimo is the better all-around fighter, I think that Rolly is riding high right now, and he's feeling himself, and he's coming off of a career best win. And I think Teofimo was just completely shut out by Shakur Stevens. His confidence is...
It's a striking divide that has boxing fans seriously questioning what could happen when these two finally share the ring. On paper, Teofimo Lopez is clearly the more technically polished fighter, backed by an impressive amateur background, world-class championship experience, elite athleticism, and years of competing at the highest level. Yet beneath the official predictions and betting lines, the boxing underground is quietly whispering that this welterweight clash could be a massive trap for Lopez. Some insiders believe Romero presents a dangerous stylistic nightmare that could disrupt all of Lopez's technical advantages and force him into a fight he never expected. They see a matchup where raw physical strength, unpredictable aggression, explosive punching power, and hidden tactical factors could completely change the equation. Instead of following the script suggested by the odds, the fight could turn into a chaotic battle where one mistake is enough to send everything crashing down. That is why some believe the hidden dynamics surrounding this matchup could ultimately shatter the betting odds and produce the kind of shocking upset that nobody sees coming until it is already happening.
The truth is, Rolando Rolly Romero has no technique and no boxing skills. But what he does possess is power and unorthodoxness. Rolando Rolly Romero is a more athletic version of Marcos El Chino Maidana. They're not very skilled, but they use these awkward, unorthodox angles and timing to go along with their brutal power and heavy brick hands. It makes it extremely difficult for your traditional boxer to counter. Teofimo Lopez could be in serious trouble.
Let's look closely at the harsh physical reality surrounding this fight, because the weight situation could play a major role in determining what happens once the opening bell rings. Teofimo Lopez is moving up another 7 pounds to compete at the 147-pound welterweight limit, entering a division where he still has very little proof that his punching power and physical strength will translate in exactly the same way they did at lighter weights. Moving up in weight can change everything, especially when a fighter is expected to deal with a naturally strong opponent who may be more comfortable carrying power at the higher limit. Sure, Teofimo previously dominated Rolly Romero during sparring sessions years ago, and that history has been brought up repeatedly whenever this matchup is discussed. But boxing analyst Sean Zittel has pointed out a potentially fatal flaw in relying too heavily on those old sparring stories. What happened in a gym years ago does not necessarily predict what will happen in a sanctioned professional fight today. Both fighters have developed, changed physically, gained experience, and faced completely different challenges since those sessions. That makes the old sparring history interesting, but far from conclusive when trying to determine who will have the real advantage at 147 pounds.
Both fighters leading up to this fight, Rolly is convinced that he is Teo's big brother. He's correct in the sense of physically, he is the bigger man, even though he doesn't have a longer reach. He's not taller, but through the shoulders and just through the weight itself as a welterweight, he is the bigger man. He is the stronger man. He is the bigger puncher. And despite not fighting in 15 months, he has a little bit more momentum right now and is riding higher than Teofimo Lopez, who's in another chapter in his career at welterweight and doesn't look particularly big at welterweight. We'll see what we get on the scales. So Jim Lampley noted continuously in his upset of Ryan Garcia his musculature at welterweight. So he's the bigger, stronger guy, I think, and the bigger puncher heading in. He's also always had underrated speed because when you talk about him being explosive.
They were both competing as lightweights back then, which makes those old sparring sessions much less relevant to the physical matchup we could see today. Now, Romero is the more natural welterweight, carrying a significantly bigger frame and a physical presence that could become a major factor at 147 pounds. He is no longer the same fighter who shared those earlier sparring sessions with Lopez. His size, strength, and ability to generate devastating one-punch knockout power at this weight class could create an entirely different challenge for Teofimo. That means whatever happened between them years ago may not accurately reflect what happens when the stakes are real, and both fighters are competing at welterweight.
On the other side, I talked to Teo, and the game plan he laid out, Raheem, in my interview with him about a week or so ago was perfect. It was actually the game plan I hatched in my head. He's got to use his jab. He has to be first and last in this fight. He has to initiate with his jab, draw out the counter punches of Rolly, because Rolly is being more of a counter puncher now. When he commits to shots, he even said in my interview, sometimes it's hard for me to be coordinated, and that's why I'm awkward. I'm so explosive that when I punch, it's almost like I'm uncoordinated, aka off balance. Teo has to bait him out to go off balance and commit and then do what he does best, and that's counterpunch. But the technical problem and the question for Teo in this fight, again, as the smaller man, as the man who's only had one knockout in about 6 or 7 years, and that was against Pedro Campa, is will he be disciplined enough to stick to a game plan of fighting behind his jab, or will he commit and get timed? Will he punch naked like Shakur Stevenson and other patients?
Even Romero's veteran trainer, Ismael Salas, has openly argued that the added weight could be taking away one of Lopez's biggest weapons, his trademark foot speed and explosive burst. Moving up to welterweight can change how a fighter moves, reacts, and creates distance. And if Lopez has lost even a small amount of that sudden twitch movement, it could become a serious problem against a naturally bigger opponent. Without the lightning-fast acceleration that allows Teofimo to dart in, land, and escape before his opponent can respond, he could find himself spending too much time in dangerous range. And against Romero, that could be a nightmare scenario. Instead of controlling the distance with his movement, Teofimo could be forced to stand in front of a much bigger man who possesses genuine one-punch knockout power. If Lopez cannot maintain his speed and defensive movement at 147 pounds, he may be walking directly into the firing line every time he chooses to exchange with Romero.
Yeah, maybe this depends. You know, it's time to make a fight. This is all about. I can tell you right now what we have to do, but it will be a great fight, very interesting fight. Many people saying to me like Teo is overwhelming Rolly, but if you can see Teo the last fight against Shakur, I think age start to giving some problem to Teo. Even I can see, I know him very, very young. His muscle start to change. You remember, he's 140 guys moving up to 147. So already Rolly showed he's a real solid 147. And Teo is the guy who will go up to 147. So I don't like to be a big talk and big mouth because I concentrate how is the way we can beat him on next August 22nd. So for sure we will work hard. We will be focusing what we have to do, and just let's wait for.
Salas believes the warning signs are already there, and from his perspective, Teofimo Lopez could be entering this matchup at a significant disadvantage because of the move up in weight. The speed that has always been one of Lopez's greatest weapons at the lighter divisions may not be as effective at welterweight, and if that explosive movement has declined even slightly, it could give Rolly Romero a major advantage. Salas has studied Lopez closely, including his most recent performance against Shakur Stevenson, and believes he has already seen signs that Teofimo's physical movement is beginning to slow down. That could become extremely important against an opponent who is naturally bigger, stronger, and capable of changing the fight with a single clean punch. Romero, meanwhile, has continued to develop since his previous appearance. He has not only gained valuable experience, but he has also become a more patient and composed boxer, learning when to attack instead of constantly rushing forward. That added patience could be a significant weapon heading into this upcoming fight, especially if Romero can combine it with his size, physical strength, and knockout power. If Lopez cannot regain the speed and explosiveness that once separated him from his opponents, Romero may have the perfect opportunity to capitalize.
Yeah, yes, his speed, even, you know, I telling you the truth. If you like to know when the fighter start to get age, as a fighter, no biological age, as a fighter, you can see his legs. Teofimo showed in the last fight, his legs start to crumble. And the fight before, I think the same card that Rolly fought, and they're in New York. he won the fight, but he not trying as well. Maybe can be because he started struggling with the 140.
Yes.
And moving up to 147. You know, I don't like to guess much, but I am very critical watching every detail in every fighter. You know, we go for it. We go for it. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But you know, Rolly, he's more patient with you now. It seems like you've made him more into a counter.
Yes.
Salas believes that Rolly Romero already possesses many of the tools required to become a great boxer, and his recent performances have shown that he is beginning to understand how to use those abilities more effectively. In his fight against Ryan Garcia, Romero demonstrated noticeable growth by becoming a calmer, more patient, and more disciplined fighter instead of constantly rushing forward in search of a knockout. That change in mentality could bring him tremendous benefits against a technically gifted opponent like Teofimo Lopez. Rather than allowing emotion or excitement to dictate his decisions, Romero can now take his time, study his opponent, wait for openings, and choose the right moments to unleash his power. According to Salas, if Romero enters the ring against Teofimo with that same patient and composed mentality he displayed against Garcia, he could already have a major part of the battle won before the fight even reaches its most important rounds. The combination of improved patience, growing experience, natural physical strength, and devastating punching power could make Romero a much more dangerous opponent than many people expect. If he can stay disciplined and avoid falling into the trap of chasing Lopez recklessly, Salas believes Rolly could put himself in an excellent position to pull off a major upset.
My main point with Rolly Romero is a mindset. So it's when he Rolly came to me, it's like a good and big office with many files, orders spread around. With me, I bring all those files together. That will be an organized office. So it get already mature. I can tell you the way he approached the training, the way he listened to every one of us, because it's not only Salas. It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. Every one of our teamwork have a part in our job, you know. Rolly, you can see Rolly is solid. He showed with Ryan Garcia. You know, in that fight, he showed the mature Rolly Romero. He's a puncher, but if you see when he dropped Ryan, he just keep calm and quiet. And always taking care of Ryan left hook.
Perhaps the best way to understand this matchup is to listen closely to the insights coming directly from both fighters' camps, because the people who have shared the gym with these fighters often see things that fans and analysts may overlook. Joseph Brown has been training alongside Rolly Romero and has even sparred with him during camp, giving him a first-hand look at Romero's preparation, physical development, and overall mindset. Brown is confident that Rolly Romero can win this fight. While acknowledging that Teofimo Lopez enters as a slight favorite with the oddsmakers, Brown believes Romero is naturally built for the welterweight division and therefore does not see the move to 147 pounds as a disadvantage for him. In fact, Brown believes the larger weight class could allow Romero to fully showcase his physical strength, durability, and devastating punching power. He also points to Romero's dominant victory over Ryan Garcia as evidence that the fighter has already demonstrated the tools needed to compete at the highest level. From Brown's perspective, that performance proved Romero can remain composed, execute a disciplined game plan, and capitalize on opportunities when they appear. If Romero brings that same mentality into fight night, Brown believes he could have nearly everything working in his favor against Lopez.
For him to just, share his love with the world. So, that's my goal, and that's what I'm doing right now.
How do you see his fight going with Teofimo?
I see him winning, of course, by however he wants to win. He's prepared very well this camp. To be honest, his development from the beginning to the end has been almost like a night and day difference. So if he's ready to box Teo for 12 rounds, or if the knockout comes, he's gonna come. So honestly, just by however he wants to win, you know.
Yeah, Teo's the betting favorite, significant. You know, not as big a odds as Ryan had, who Rolly obviously upset, but Teo's the favorite. What do you think is maybe being overlooked or not analyzed properly in having Teo the favorite?
I think maybe it could be like maybe the way Rolly lost his couple fights, but you know he was super dehydrated during those fights. So with the Tank fight, he lost 17 pounds like the night before, which is crazy. And the same thing with the Pitbull fight, he cut a lot. You know, he's been a welterweight for a long time, and he was trying to sacrifice himself to make those lower weight classes to get those belts. But I feel like that's playing a factor of why you know T would be a little bit of the favorite in this fight. But you know Rolly's at the right weight class now, so I think everyone's gonna definitely see that this time around. You know, I feel like they saw it in the Ryan fight, and you know that was his first fight at 47. Now he's had a whole year to really grow into it and mature into it. So I think it's definitely gonna show on Saturday night.
Perhaps the most shocking prediction came from Shakur Stevenson, the man who recently humbled Teofimo Lopez in his last fight and therefore understands firsthand what Lopez brings into the ring. Surprisingly, Shakur picked the challenger to defeat the WBA champion, giving Rolly Romero a strong endorsement despite Lopez entering the matchup with significant technical advantages. Shakur believes Teofimo has been dominating fights since his amateur days, building years of experience at the highest levels and developing the kind of skills that can make him extremely dangerous when he is mentally and physically prepared. That long history of success gives Lopez a clear edge in terms of experience, but Shakur's biggest concern is not necessarily Teofimo's ability. It is which version of Teofimo actually shows up on fight night. According to Shakur, a mentally strong and fully focused Teofimo Lopez is incredibly dangerous and possesses the speed, timing, power, and offensive creativity to completely change a fight in an instant. When Lopez is confident and mentally locked in, he has the capability to overwhelm an opponent, create openings, and potentially put them to sleep with his explosive combinations and precision punching. But if the wrong version of Teofimo shows up, Shakur believes Romero could take full advantage of the situation.
A great fighter. I don't take none away from him. Even now, like if I know the Teo that's supposed to go out there and do what he been doing, he should beat Rolly. But
you think so?
Yes, for sure. For sure, he should.
You don't think Rolly got any chance? Like,
no, I think Rolly like mentally is a tougher dude than a lot of people know and expect. And I think Rolly is actually smarter than people know and expect. And I think Rolly got some things with him for sure. Like I don't think Rolly is just like his style may be like trash to me, like the way he fight. Like you watch him Shadowbox, it look funny, but like I think Rolly is a good fighter, but I think Teo should be on another like level. Like Teo's who he is. I done seen this dude since a kid dominate like since youngest. Like he dominates fights. So these are the type of fights when big punchers get in front of him, he make them look silly. And I done seen it once again since a kid. So he should do that. But my only thing with Teo, I don't feel like he took too much accountability at the fight. And I think that's what helped fighters get better. And you don't want to be a fighter that stay on the same level. So if he stays on the same level, then yeah, Rolly has a good chance at cracking him and doing something to him. But if he's like mentally as strong as he used to be and the person that he was.
Rolly Romero certainly did not take kindly to Shakur Stevenson picking Teofimo Lopez over him. During the final fight preparations and press conference, tensions quickly escalated as Teofimo confidently proclaimed his superiority and made it clear that he believed he was the better fighter. Romero responded with a brutal warning, claiming that Lopez would need plastic surgery after the fight because of the punishment he planned to deliver. The exchange immediately added another layer of intensity to an already highly anticipated matchup, showing just how personal the rivalry had become. Both fighters appear determined to prove that the other man's confidence is completely misplaced, and neither seems willing to back down when the cameras are rolling. These heated moments also demonstrate that when fame, pride, money, and championship-level recognition are on the line, personal relationships and friendships can quickly be pushed aside. Romero wants to make a statement against a former champion with a major reputation, while Lopez wants to remind everyone why he remains one of the most dangerous and talented fighters in the division. With both men talking confidently and preparing for a high-stakes showdown, the bad blood could make every exchange inside the ring even more explosive.
always been a 3-division interim champion. He's never been an actual super or any world champion. He's been elevated, you know, and I think some people forget that this guy is not in my league. He won't ever be in my league. He never was in my league. You know what I mean? And I think that's the whole purpose of this thing, is just for me to show everyone that just because he beat Ryan Garcia.
You ever thought behind reconstructive surgery done to your face?
I'm not Ryan Garcia. Say again?
You ever thought behind reconstructive surgery done to your face?
You know something? I think you can say all that. It's all fun and games. You know, you got the shirt off and all that stuff, showing your chest and everything. I mean, same thing you did with Tank is same thing, you know. So I seen all these things with you. And you can say all what you want to say, smile, but it ain't going to matter come Saturday night. It's not. It ain't. And, you know, you could be all flashy right now, but you know what it is. You know what you're coming into.
Yeah, you know I'm not a flashy person. I'm just
All
chilling.
right. It's okay. Talk some more. Let me see it.
Stocks right now.
Oh, word? And you got a Rolex? Is that the Rolex?
This fight is incredibly important for both boxers because a victory could open the door to massive opportunities and major showdowns in the welterweight division. The stakes are high, the pressure is enormous, and neither fighter can afford to overlook what is waiting on the other side of the opening bell. The odds makers are heavily backing Teofimo Lopez, trusting his pedigree, technical ability, speed, and championship experience while expecting him to control the action and potentially cruise toward a tactical decision victory. But the fighters and trainers inside the gym are anticipating something completely different. They see the possibility of a brutal late-round collision where Romero's size, patience, physical strength, and one-punch knockout power could create serious problems for Lopez. The moment these two finally meet in the center of the ring, someone's expectations are going to be shattered, and the entire boxing world could be forced to reconsider what they thought they knew about both fighters. The only question remaining is whether Teofimo can outsmart the trap, use his superior technique, and neutralize Romero's power, or whether Rolly will finally drop the hammer, deliver the upset, and shock the entire boxing world. Who do you think wins this fight? Drop your prediction in the comments and tell us exactly how you see the matchup unfolding. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming boxing videos and major fight updates. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, keep watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.